Excellent. Well, again, thank you all so much for being here today and saying yes to you and yes to growing your business. My name is Holly Penney, and I am the founder and co-owner of Nova Ridge Bookkeeping, and I am your host today. I founded Nova Ridge Bookkeeping over 5 years ago with a passion to help business owners understand their finances. As things evolved over the years, we have happily found our place supporting women in business to finally feel in control of their finances. So, what is Women in Business Monthly Growth Session? This monthly growth session came from a desire to support women in business even more. Working directly with clients, I discovered while being good at what they do and now having their finances in order, it really is just a couple of pieces to the puzzle to creating a successful, sustainable, and profitable business. I have connected with some fantastic professionals over the past few years and knew if there was a way that I could bring us all together in one place, we could create an awesome synergy to elevate our businesses to the next level. My vision for this monthly growth session is to come together, learn together, and grow together. So it's time. Grab a drink, grab your lunch, grab a blanket, grab a pen and notepad, get yourself comfortable. And did I say grab a notepad? Because you're gonna want to take some notes during this session. Today's speakers. So we have two exciting speakers today. This is my favorite topic. Of course, we're talking about finances, bookkeeping, and accounting. I will be doing my presentation on creating a sustainable and profitable business, and Stephanie Saint from Saint Professional Corp is here. She is a CPA and will be sharing all kinds of accounting tips for us. So, in the spirit of networking, we're going to jump into our first breakout session. In this breakout session, I want you to share your name, your business name, what it is you do, and then in this session, I want you to share one thing that you do to protect your own energy. We know being a business owner can be challenging by times, whether it's with personal life or dealing with clients or dealing with the business. So what is one thing that you do to protect your own energy? There's going to be about 4 or 5 minutes in the breakout room. So you each have about a minute to share, and I'll send you off now. Welcome back to the main room. Did you meet someone new in there? Yes. Yep. Awesome. And you learned maybe some new ways that you can also ground yourself or protect your energy. Awesome. Hi, Melissa. All right. So we're going to pop into our first featured speaker today. And I am so grateful that my friend Emma said that she would join us today. And she is going to take a moment to introduce me.
I sure am, and I'm very glad that I worked out my technical difficulties because I wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. So let me introduce you to Holly. Holly is a professional bookkeeper with over 15 years of experience and the founder of Nova Ridge Bookkeeping. Nova Ridge is a nationwide bookkeeping firm serving women in business to finally feel in control of their finances. In addition to bookkeeping, she is a meditation teacher, speaker, author, self-love lover, and abundance seeker. In her free time, Holly enjoys spending time with her kiddos, going on road trips, reading, journaling, and enjoying some delicious chocolate. So let's hear from Holly.
Thank you so much, Emma. That was fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so today's presentation, I am so excited to share with you this topic of bookkeeping. So we're in the middle of tax season, and that's why I think today is a great session to have a bookkeeper and an accountant on for everybody here. So when you start a business, we all start a business out of passion. And this statistic here, did you know that 50% of businesses fail in the first 5 years? And it's not because they're not passionate about their business. Statistically speaking, 82% of those businesses fail because of cash flow problems. So what this is telling me is when people need assistance, they're not asking for help and they're just trying to do it on the seat of their own pants. And when you find your group of people who can support you, it really is beneficial to help support your business. So today's topic is creating a sustainable and profitable business, because we start business because we're good at what we do, and now we want that business to grow. So today we're going to learn how to create a sustainable and profitable business. So I have a couple of tips for you. The first thing you can do to creating your sustainable and profitable business is keeping your bookkeeping up to date. And I know most people, bookkeeping isn't their business. That's why they didn't start a bookkeeping business. That's why they're not passionate about it. And there's a couple of things that you can do to set yourself up for success when it comes to your bookkeeping. So the first thing you're going to do always, no matter what business you have, if you're a sole proprietorship and a corporation, you're going to open a separate bank account. Keep your business financials completely separate from your personal financials. The next thing we're going to do is record your income and expenses on a consistent basis. So I don't mean in 12 months' time, next year at tax time, we're looking at a pile of paperwork this high. I mean, set up a schedule for yourself. Is it once a week, every Monday, you sit down and you record all of your income into the company and you record all of your expenses? And then, of course, we want to create a receipt management system. Everybody's receipt management system can look different, and that's okay. If you have envelopes and paper copies work for you, set up a system for yourself. Categorize those expenses, like your receipts, in those envelopes or those folders for yourself. If you're looking for an electronic filing system, do that as well. Create a system, a receipt management system that's going to work for you in your business. Number 2, this is a good one. So ensure accounts receivable is current. I can't tell you how many times I've talked with a potential client and we start talking about income and they tell me that their accounts receivable is in the tens of thousands of dollars and 6 months plus late. So this means that clients aren't paying you for your services. And it is impossible, let's just say it how it is impossible to create a sustainable business if your clients are not actually paying you. So ensure your accounts receivable is current. Send your client invoices in a timely manner. So that's another thing I hear is, oh yeah, I send my invoices like once a month. So what happens if I see you the day after you do your invoicing as a client, as a patient of yours? I don't want to receive an invoice a month later, you asking me for payment. So really keep this current. Send your invoices to your clients in a timely manner. Make it easy for clients to pay you. So how do you accept payment? Do you accept payment in cash only or a credit card where they need to come into your office? Do you have an electronic form where you can send them an invoice? They can make that credit card payment right over their computer or from their phone. Really make it easy for your clients to pay you. And this one, follow up on outstanding payments. Again, that potential client that I met that had tens of thousands of dollars in accounts receivable, she wasn't following up with her clients to ensure that she actually received the payment. So she provided the service and then 6 months later still hadn't received the payment. If we're spending our time and energy supporting our clients, we deserve, as business owners, we deserve to get paid for our time and services. And then this one's always fun. So track your KPIs. And what KPIs stand for are key performance indicators. There are many, many KPIs we can be tracking in our business, from marketing to financials to sales to customer retention, all of those things. So creating a list of KPIs that you want to track in your business is a great place to start. I'm going to share with you today a couple of my favorites, some that I share with my clients when I'm reviewing their financials with them. So first, profit margin. It is important. I feel it's important for every client, every business owner to know what their profit margin is. And so, okay, now we figured out what your profit margin is, and now we get to dive a little bit deeper and figure out what the profit margin should be for your industry. So if we think of a massage clinic, their profit margin would be different than, say, a photographer, say, a doctor's office. Every industry has their own industry standards. And so getting familiar with what your profit margin should be and then figuring out what your profit margin is will help you in creating your sustainable and profitable business. Labor margin. So if we look at labor margin, and I have seen it where I have clients who their labor margin is up in the 80 and 90%. So that means that 80 to 90% of their revenue is going directly to their employees, which again, if we're wanting to create a sustainable business, we need to figure out where the leaks in their wages are, in their processes, in their internal processes, and why they're spending so much money on wages. Meals and entertainment expense. This is a funny one because I find some clients, they don't spend any money on meals and entertainment throughout the year, or some clients spend a lot of money on meals and entertainment. So just being aware of what you are spending on meals and entertainment. Marketing percentage, again, how much do you want to be spending on marketing, and knowing exactly what it is you are spending. Rent, if you have a huge lease on your property and your revenue is not reflecting in that lease, okay, well then what do we need to do to get your revenue up so it's sustainable for you to stay in that leased space? And then revenue per customer. So we all know that the more that your client gives you, the better it is. You know, what's the saying? Like having 10 clients at X number of dollars is better than having 100 clients at a smaller number of dollars. So figuring out what your revenue per client is will help you create your sustainable and profitable business. So to wrap it up, creating a sustainable and profitable business, 3 steps. Number 1, keep your bookkeeping up to date. Number 2, ensure your accounts receivable is current. And number 3, track your KPIs. I want to remind you of the statistic that I shared at the beginning. So 50% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years, and 82% of those are because of cash flow problems. I don't want anybody in here today having to close their business due to cash flow problems, and that's exactly why I started Nova Ridge Bookkeeping. I want to help everybody get their bookkeeping under control, and I've created a free bookkeeping checklist. So feel free to scan this QR code. You will be directed to our website where you'll put in your email, and then you can download your free bookkeeping checklist. I recommend printing this checklist off and writing on it. Take a pencil and write on it. Okay, weekly, I'm going to do this on Mondays. So write down on the list, Mondays, I'm going to do this. Okay, Fridays, I'm going to do this. Okay, the last Friday of the month, I'm going to do this task. So I break it down weekly or daily, weekly, monthly, and then of course those annual tasks. So that is the wrap up of my creating a sustainable and profitable business. We have a 5-minute Q&A. I'm going to put my contact information in the chat box, as well as the link to download the bookkeeping checklist. So feel free to download that. If you have a question for me, please just unmute yourself, and I'll be happy to answer them. And I have a couple of questions that are here already. So this is actually a super common question that I get asked is, what software do you recommend for tracking income and expenses? So actually, Stephanie and I were talking a little bit about this before everybody hopped on here today. Our firm, Nova Ridge Bookkeeping, we strictly use QuickBooks Online. It really is super user-friendly. Yeah, easy to use. You can add your bookkeepers, your accountants right to QuickBooks Online. So at tax time, Stephanie can log right into your QBO account and pull the data that she needs. So I always recommend QuickBooks Online. Of course, there's other ways that you can do it. You can do it with an Excel spreadsheet, but again, tracking your KPIs might be more challenging when you do it with an Excel spreadsheet. So I always recommend QuickBooks Online. And then another question that I get is, when should I hire a bookkeeper? So this is a great question. And we all know in the beginning of business, we become this like jack of all trades, this master of jack of all trades. We wear all the hats when we're starting a business. And that's okay. That's exactly the passion and the desire and the drive that we all need to get our business up and going and off the ground. I think bookkeeping, and the more business owners that I talk to, bookkeeping is one of the first things that they like to offload. Like, I don't want to deal with the finances, just somebody else deal with it. So when should I hire a bookkeeper? It's common when you start getting your revenue up around the, say, $150,000, $200,000 a year mark. If you have a goal to take this business even higher, it's a great idea to start looking into hiring a bookkeeper. And that's just kind of like a general rule of thumb. We have clients who are their revenue is less than that. We have clients who are their revenue is way more than that. But a general rule of thumb, yeah, you can probably successfully make it to about $150,000, $200,000 in revenue before you really start to get overwhelmed and realize that you need some support. All right. I feel like I'm doing so much talking today, and this is not normal. I don't do this much talking, so it's interesting. We're going to hop into our second breakout session. So in this session, you're going to have the same people in your room. So you don't need to share your name and your business name. But in this session, I want you to share one service, program, application that has been priceless to the success of your business. So what's one thing you use in your business that's been priceless to you, and maybe that's going to help somebody else too in growing their business. Again, you'll have about 5 minutes. See you soon. All right, welcome back to the main room. Did you learn about a new product or service that you could potentially use in your business? Yeah, maybe. All right, for our second speaker today, we are going to hear from Stephanie Saint. Stephanie is a chartered professional accountant and the owner and founding partner of Saint Professional Corporation. Her dedication to her work is shown through many different types of clients she works with. She values client relationships and client success. Stephanie, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, so I'll give you a little bit of background of Stephanie. So I didn't really prepare slides. I figured accounting's pretty boring as it is, so let's not bore you with some slides either. So I started Saint Professional Corporation September 2022 after I received my designation, actually the week after I opened my corporation. I also took over another accounting firm for 2 senior accountants that were retiring. They were aged 75 and 82, so it was really time for them to close the doors and relax a little bit. They've been putting in the hard work for a long time. So I came from a medium-sized accounting firm, about 25 staff members, where I was the manager of not only students, but CPAs underneath me as a student in the CPA program. So in the last year and a half, we've grown from just 1 staff member, me and 1 staff member, to 7 staff now. And it's our crazy time of the year. So right now we're working on everything from corporate taxes, personal taxes, estate stuff right now. Unfortunately, this time of the year is when we do learn about a lot of clients that have passed away through the year. Unfortunately, as well as we've lost 8 clients in the last 2 weeks. So it's been not so fun. But mostly what I wanted to talk about this in the presentation today of like some changes that have come up with the Canada Revenue Agency in the last couple months, to maybe to a year. They've implemented some more things and requirements for corporations and individuals for filing in the last couple of years. So first of that being what they call an underutilized housing tax return. And an underutilized housing tax return comes along with people that own residential properties that they're not currently residing in. So that could be a rental property, a vacation home, anything like that. You're now required to file this underutilized housing tax return with the government. If you don't file the tax returns, personally, the penalty is $5,000. And if you're a corporation, the penalties start at $10,000 per property. So a lot of individuals and corporations are missing this right now. The government is being a little bit lenient with filing them late. So if you know of any corporations that have residential properties, or people that are in partnerships with other individuals on residential properties. This is affecting them. As well as more recently, we used to advise clients, get on the title of your elderly parent's home and get on listed as the partial owner of their bank account. So when they pass away, you don't have to deal with probate on these sorts of things. These items don't go to the lawyer. You don't have to pay a fee on them. They don't get frozen in the place of death. They've changed the ruling on that now this year. So the government's actually requiring you to file what's called a bare trust return. So if you are on title for anybody's house that you don't currently reside in, that means co-signing. Or if you are on somebody's bank account that has more than $50,000 in it, you're required to file a bare trust. These trusts can start anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 with an accountant, but the filing fees or missed fees are way worse. So the government is pretty crazy on the penalties lately, and also reporting on stuff that we didn't have to report on before. The underutilized housing tax return, like I was talking about before, also what they're trying to do is catch people that are non-residents that hold properties in Canada. So with the underutilized housing tax return, there's no taxes if you're a Canadian citizen. It's just a filing sort of thing. And then first-time home savings accounts are new this year too. So a lot of people were thinking that they contribute to their first-time home savings account, same as an RSP. Unfortunately, actually, the reporting's different. They follow on a calendar year rather than a February to March 1st year, like RSPs do. So some people are going to struggle with that this year on their personal taxes. Other people that struggle with like just overall tax planning. So this is something we do with a lot of corporate and personal clients. Corporate clients, we sit down with you, go over every number in your financial statements, kind of like Holly does with her stuff and gives you the KPIs. But we sit down and say, okay, well, you spent $45,000 on advertising, but your revenues went down. Do you think it was really beneficial? So we'll walk through those numbers. I do see this helps, especially the guys in the trades that don't understand what they're spending their money on or why they're spending certain amounts of money. Most accountants nowadays, honestly, they say, drop off your stuff. I'll see you in a month. Sign on the dotted line. And they don't explain these things to you. So this is stuff we do, as well as we do a full complex tax planning. So most owner-operator businesses don't understand which ways they can pay themselves. You're in T4s, T5s, what's a good way of doing it. But they also don't take into consideration when they're paying themselves how it's going to affect other parts of their lives. So if you pay yourself a certain way, are you going to qualify for a mortgage in 5 years? So these are things we work with. We work with mortgage brokers. We sit down with them and say, okay, what do they need to get this kind of house in 5 years? Also, a lot of people that don't use accountants don't have access to their notice of assessments, their slips, anything like that years after the fact. So again, we work with the mortgage brokers, provide them all the information required. Yeah, and what other notes did I have here? More recently, the CPAs also put restrictions on people like H&R Block and other people that aren't considered accountants or CPAs. They might be public business accountants or anything like that. But they're no longer allowed to provide financial information or financial statements to financial institutions to get funding. So CPAs, I know it's going to be a little bit of an additional cost, but if you need any sort of funding for purchases of equipment or vehicles or anything like that, you need a CPA sign off on the financial statements. So those are the kind of the new things that we're experiencing right now. Personal tax season, like I said, is among us. We do quite a few personal taxes. We do a 3-day turnaround. So you drop off your stuff here, and it's out to you within 3 business days. If you're sole proprietor and we need to communicate with bookkeepers or anything like that, it may take a little bit longer. And then for corporate stuff, for corporations, incorporated companies, that could be, we have a 3 week turnaround time on those sorts of things. So in and out the door within 3 weeks with your meeting. So that's me in a big jumble of words. So if anybody has questions.
That is fantastic. Thank you, Stephanie. And yes, to everything that Stephanie has said, like I made so many notes, like that's so great and so helpful.
Yeah.
If
The tax
anybody,
planning is the biggest one for like the owner operated peoples. Like I said, most accountants are just like, here, you took out this much money out of the corporation last year. We're just going to issue a dividend. But they don't actually take into consideration if you want to receive CPP in the future or if you need to qualify for a mortgage. So these are things that we know we take care of with each individual client.
and and that's one question that I get asked often is how do I pay myself? How much do I pay myself? And while we can advise from a bookkeeping standpoint, we can't advise from a tax standpoint. So I always say talk to your CPA because they know the ins and outs of all of your personal finances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is a question for you, Stephanie. When should someone hire an accountant? I know I have my opinion on when someone should hire an accountant, but what's your opinion?
Honestly, I think what you pay in an accountant, you're going to save in taxes anyways. So hire an accountant, shouldn't think of it as an expense, but you should think of it as an investment in your business, because they see absolutely everything. They know all the rules and stuff like that. So you're never too small to see an accountant. As soon as you incorporate a business, I think it's very important. I had one client that called me the other day and she said, yeah, I love coming to you, but it's just so expensive. And I said, but honestly, for $1,200 I charge you, you're saving in taxes more because I can help you with the write-offs and stuff like that, right? So it comes and goes, right?
Yep.
I think anytime, never too small of a personal tax return either, to make sure you're doing it right. So,
Yep.
And I always compare myself to H&R Block, and that's kind of a far stretch between the two of us. I have 12 years experience preparing personal tax returns and corporate tax returns. The people you hire at H&R Block, they have 5 days training, and you're going to pay the same amount you pay H&R Block to pay me to do it. So
I concur. Like with what's that thing? Like the thing that a judge is like, I concur, Stephanie, 100%. If you have a business and you want to take your business seriously, just hire an accountant from the get-go.
Yeah. And then Emma had a question there.
Yes. Emma has a question. So, do you automatically do financial review for clients, advising them on where to cut down spending, etc., or does this service have to be requested?
So mostly with like the large incorporated clients, it's done every year because we actually sit down and go through the financial statements. The sole proprietors it could be something we could go through. It doesn't have to necessarily be requested, but if the one specific person would like to see those things and have made me aware of where they think they need to spend less or talk about it, we can definitely do that right away.
Yeah, I like that. That's one thing that's super important for me. And I'm sure, Stephanie, you would agree that we're not expecting business owners to understand financial statements inside and out, but understand those areas of concentration. Where, like you said, if you spent $45,000 on marketing, but your revenue went down, where is the leak?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I'm going to pop your contact information in the chat box right now. So head over to Instagram. Stephanie also included her Facebook page. So head over there and follow her because they're always posting helpful information. We are going to hop into our third and final breakout room. So this one's a fun one. And I'm interested to see what people will say. What are you currently watching on Netflix right now? We all need like a break, like a mental break. So what are you watching on Netflix to take some time for you? Welcome back. Did you hear of a couple new shows that you might want to watch? Yeah, maybe. Finding new shows on Netflix are always a good thing because I feel like you get in a rhythm of like what you like to watch, or you know how it's like suggested. This is because you watch the same genre. So then when you find something new, it's like, oh, there's something different out there I can enjoy. I just want to say thank you to everyone today for showing up. I truly hope you took something away from today's session and that you come back next month. My goal for this Women in Business monthly growth session is to grow it. I want to take myself, my friends, my colleagues, I want to take us all, and we're all going to go up and elevate our businesses. So come back next month and bring a friend too. Next month's session is on April 4th. We have two awesome speakers, Jill Wright from Grow Like a Mother. She is a business coach. And then we have Mary LeBreton. She is the founder of Orthos Media, which is a digital marketing firm. And I have seen both of these ladies speak, and they are well worth the time to chime in next month. You can scan this code right here, the QR code, and that will take you right to our registration link. And I promise next month there won't be technical difficulties, right? Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today.